Hey, happy Sunday, everyone. I'm to you, Nap, and this gentleman over
I'm
here.
Dr. Michael Gross. How are you, everyone? I'm so glad you're on. This is the TU and Dr. Michael show, and we're here to entertain you, but we're also here to deliver a message to empower you to change your life. And I want to talk about, I'm stealing TU's thunder, her book, Healing the Holes in Your Soul. This is a great book. I love it. It's all about a woman's challenges of life to find her self-worth, self-love, and self-esteem, but also to listen to the thoughts of her soul and realize that all answers lie within. And this is a heroic story, and I'm not being modest, it's the truth, of a woman who crawled her way through life to find out that she is unlimited. And now she can share this story and empower other women and children and men. Tatia, thank you. You are unlimited. You're incredible.
No, thank you, Michael. And I want to go ahead and bring up Michael's book. Oops, here we go.
That looks familiar.
Spiritual Primer. Huh?
That looks familiar.
Oh, yeah, it's written by some guy named Michael Gross. And
Really?
I see that his name is also, his name is also on that book. How funny is that, right?
Yep. Accidents happen.
That was no accident. I got this book a little over 2 years ago, and I had the privilege to meet Dr. Michael Gross at the time I got this book. And let me tell you, he has changed my life in so many, many ways. So I would highly recommend that we all have a story. We all have challenges in life. That's just the way it is. So I would start with this book and then go to that book because he taught me so many things, and I shared my story, and I also include a lot of what he taught me in my book. I'm getting my fingers mixed up, but anyway, I'm going to put this book down. Michael, thank you so much for being so sweet to jump up with my book first. You're such a card.
Thank you. I'm an ace of hearts.
Okay, we're here today to we have a wonderful topic that Michael has shared with us. He's sharing with us today. He has decided that the topic today should be finding yourself. Well, and I think that that's a really, really appropriate topic because before I met him, I was kind of lost. And I thought I'd come a long way and figured out a lot of things with my life. But what I didn't know was that I still had a whole lot of learning to do. So along with that came this, okay, wait, my hands, wonderful person over here. And, if you're ever missing anything in your life and you not sure what's going on, but you're feeling like something's still missing, definitely connect with one of us, and we'll put the contact information in the comments. But I'm going to go ahead and formally introduce you to this phenomenal man because this is the only thing that we script. And this is only, see, everything else is however it comes out. Michael channels through True Source and he has phenomenal insight. And I just want to let you guys all know that this is the very, very, very inspirational and spiritual Dr. Michael Gross. So here we go with the formal part. All right, you ready, Michael?
I'm a
Speaker, transformational coach, and an entrepreneur. For more than 3 decades, he has been on a spiritual path as an intuitive, a healer, spiritual counselor, and an amazing teacher. Through the guidance of spirit, Michael has assisted others in their personal quest for self-empowerment, helping them to create the lives that they have long sought and to bring forth their intuitive abilities. Michael currently teaches classes in spirituality, self-empowerment, Reiki, and other modalities. In concert with God, the True Source, he has also achieved great success and miraculous healings. He remains humble, knowing the work that he does all comes from God, the True Source. Michael lives in Lakewood, Washington, and I am thrilled because he's just launched his nonprofit, and I'm thrilled to be part of that. And I'm going to let Michael tell you a little bit about the nonprofit, and then we're going to go into the topic about finding yourself. So here you go, Michael Gross.
Thank you very much. When Spirit said that I wish to form a nonprofit, and the name of it was the International Institute of Self-Empowerment, I thought this is great. The acronym is TISE, T-I-I-S-E, the International Institute of Self-Empowerment. And then I wasn't sure, but when Spirit says to do something, I never argue, analyze, just do it, and eventually it'll come to fruition. And I met this beautiful soul who was my sister in a past life and used to get me in trouble a lot with my mother, our mother, and kick me out of the womb first, see how the water was. But in all truth,
I
when I met
wanted a big brother. Sorry for interrupting, but I wanted a big brother.
you got him. And so as time went by and I understood her story, what a brave woman she is. And I realized how many other women, children, and men are abused. And I went, wow, this is a good start for the International Institute of Self-Empowerment. So we began to put it together. We became a 501c. And as we mentioned before, we're still working on the website and still getting our logo set up, which I give credit to Tiu because she's so creative that she was able to develop the logo. So I'm really proud. We're winding down, and then we're going to go for grants and money and donations. Because it's not only about women, children, and men, it's about our future. It's about how we exist on this planet. It's about finding yourself. It's about looking around and see what is empowering you. So tonight's message, or this afternoon, wherever you're watching it, this morning's message, whatever time frame you're on, I have something important to share with you. And I want to remind all of you that again, we're a 501c. You're looking for some tax deductions, it's going to 501c. Tiu and I have put a lot of work into this. We have not taken one penny from the Institute. We're all volunteering this till the time that we become self-sufficient. But whenever that time is, it'll be perfect. So thank you for bringing that up. But I want to talk to you, all of you, about finding yourself. And it's such an important thing these time and days because really, who are you? What are you? Well, you're male or female or whatever you are, but you're more than that. You're a family member. You're a mother, a daughter, a child, a grandfather, grandmother. You're a husband. You're an aunt, an uncle, relatives. You're a friend. Whatever you are, you're all those things. But you're much more than that. You're a beautiful human being. And this human being that you are is created of love, by love, from love, and with love. You've heard me say that so many times, but I keep repeating it till you finally believe it. Because words are empty unless you embrace those words, unless you become in alignment with those words, and unless you live those words. Finding yourself means who you really are, besides whatever sex you are, besides whatever your relationships are. It's finding your mission and goal, finding your purpose in life, and also creating a roadmap for others to follow, to become empowered, to find love and joy and happiness. Originally, this was supposed to be the Garden of Eden on earth, not the biblical Garden of Eden, but a place of love and joy and happiness, healing, realignment, rebalancing, all those things. You know what? We forgot that long ago, eons ago. So here I am going, knock, 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 knock. Time to wake up. We have a message for you. And we, meaning the true source and I know that my sister will have some valuable words to offer, which I'll be glad to have her share. But more importantly, look what's going on in the world. You're living in fear. You're angry. You're living in doubt. You're living in insecurity. You feel like you're being led by a rope with a ring in your nose and dragged around. You feel that you are righteous or you don't have any rights. You feel you have freedom or you don't have freedom. Well, let me just say this to all of you. You are here to experience life. That's what you are. And karma is nothing but an experience to empower you. Along the way, some or all of us, or a great percentage, have gotten lost to realize we're here for the experience. And the experience is to be unconditionally loving, allowing, and non judgmental. Do unto others as you have them do unto you. And as I call it from the true source, right action and correct exchange. It's so important. So it doesn't mean that if you go to church or synagogue or temple or wherever you're going, you say, I'm sorry, and gives you a license to go out and do it all over again. Because that's what a lot of souls do. Instead, this is the time to be introspective. Introspective means look at your life, look at what you've accomplished. You may not think you're rich enough or successful enough or whatever, but in truth, you made it to the age you are right now. That's success. And in truth, you've helped a lot of people, whether it be with a smile or advice. And in truth, you've healed a lot of people emotionally. You've been there to support them. And in truth, you're finding that life is more than just wealth. And you're finding in truth, health is important, and laughter, and joy, and happiness. And we've lost that. In the old days, 50s and 60s, many of the comedians on TV weren't allowed to use X-rated words. Maybe when they put on a show, they did. And we laughed and we thought it was funny. We forgot to how we laughed again. Or forgot what's funny again. We forgot that it's okay to make fun of yourself. Because in making fun of yourself, you're realizing that you've created something that is not important. Or that perhaps you're unhappy with. You've forgotten all that stuff. So if you're forgetting all that stuff, you're forgetting your path and who you are and your direction in life. You forgot all that because we're so wrapped up in PC, politically correct, the woke, and whatever else is going on. There was a TV series, All in the Family, and we all know that the father, he was very judgmental. He had names for every ethnic group, and we laughed. We didn't take it serious. Maybe a few people did, but we didn't take it serious because we knew it was a humor. And a humor to laugh at yourself. You see, when you're saying something about yourself and laughing, you realize what is really important. Why are you so sensitive? What's proper? What's improper? So we learn from history. That's how we learn. What is your history? You learn what worked and didn't work. You learn that you are more than your body. You learn that you can overcome lots of trials and tribulations, that you can create a new job or excel in a job, that you can find the love of your life, that you can be with children, that you can enjoy yourself in sports or having dinner and having fun. With the COVID virus, we've been wearing masks. We haven't been socializing as much. But the truth is, we're social animals, which means we work best when we communicate and we laugh. And I was talking to a friend I haven't talked to in a while, and we laughed and joked about each other. And it was so great because some of the jokes we would say would be insulting. The truth of the matter is, we laughed because it wasn't insulting. We took it light because we knew each other's humor. I have my brother who lives in Florida. And when I call up and say I'm coming down, he goes, "Oh, no. Okay, I'll clean out the garage so you got a place to sleep." And we laugh. We don't take it serious because that's his humor. And I would pull the same thing on him. We forgot that. We're so wrapped up what we should say and shouldn't say. And we have to say the right thing. I don't know what the right thing is. All I know is if we take life lightly, then we don't become serious and we're not offended. To you, I know you wanted to add something.
I do. It's very, very easy to get caught up in everything that's going on around us. And for me, coming where I come from and the story that I wrote about in my book, it's I forgot who I was. And when you don't find yourself, when you take everything else, everybody else's opinions, the one thing that sticks in my head is that you might get 100 compliments on something, like your hair looks great, or you're wearing a nice outfit, and you get one negative word. And what do you hold on to? We all do this. We hold on to that one negative piece, and we can drive ourselves nuts by holding on to the one thing that was negative when we just had 100 very, very nice positive compliments. Why do we do that, right? Because we start struggling so much with low self-worth, self-love, and low self-esteem that we put ourselves way below everybody else's standards, when really all we need to do is look at who we really are, right, Michael?
Absolutely.
I mean, I added this, and forgive me, but this is not one of your quotes, okay?
Oh my goodness.
But it's, oh my gosh. But it really resonates with me, and I put it in my book. And the reason I want to say it is because it really fits right here. Helen Keller wrote, "The best and the most beautiful things in the world cannot be seen or even touched. They must be felt with the heart." And that's what you teach us, Michael. Unconditional love is that there's nothing more powerful than the energy of love, right?
I
And it
agree.
starts, doesn't it start when we start loving ourselves and finding out who we really are? I mean, you say this all the time: what you think, you create, and what you create, you experience. That is your quote. And when we're thinking negatively about what other people are saying about us, then we're creating more of that negativity, right?
That's correct.
So how I hope I'm not taking you so far off this topic, but is there a way that you can help other people realize and correct our negative thinking? How do we make ourselves more positive?
Well, that's a good thought. So if any of you have ever read the book The Diary of Anne Frank, in which the Nazis eventually killed her, she left the diary. She
Yep.
spoke only of positive things. She didn't live in fear, not knowing moment to moment, day to day, whether she would live or die or if her family would live or die. But her attitude was positive, and her epitaph is the book, The Diary of Anne Frank. But it's really a story of positivity. It's a story of empowerment. Who's going to jump out of her skin? So go ahead.
I have an Anne Frank quote in my book as well.
I know you do. Go ahead.
May I share?
Absolutely.
Anne Frank actually has two amazing quotes. And one is, "We can't control our destiny, but we can control who we become."
Beautiful.
And the other one, I might as well get it out there. I'm on a roll.
Get it out there.
Okay. "Our lives are fashioned by our choices. First, we make our choices, and then our choices make us."
Where's the wisdom? Well said. So here she is, 12 or 14 years old, and she's smarter than most of the people that exist now and wiser. We need to understand there's an old cliche: God don't make no junk. I don't know if you heard that before, but that is the truth. So, what are we doing in our lives that make us insecure, low self worth, self love, and self esteem? And what do we do to recreate ourselves? Good question. Well, do you think that when you were born, you're a piece of garbage? Do you ever think about that? You think you were created to suffer or have so low self worth, self love, and self esteem? You look at life wide eyed and wow, this is exciting. And you began to formulate your thoughts, and then your path was formulated by family, friends, religions, relatives, whatever. And then by the age of 3, the veil of forgetfulness descends upon you. In other words, watch a baby laughing, looking around because the baby's talking to the guides and angels. And whatever they came here to learn, that veil descends. So it's like a new beginning. And then by the age of 7 or 8, as you know, you're pre-programmed. You're brainwashed to think a certain way. Then you spend the rest of your lives trying to reverse that. And some of that you want to reverse and some of that you don't. But like in the diary of Anne Frank, the one thing we need to know is we're not a victim. We create victimhood by our belief system, and we can uncreate it by reverse engineering. So, whatever you create in your life, think about that. If you're unhappy, spend a moment. How did I create it? How did I fall in this trap? How did I create this? Oh, now how do I change this? And you reverse everything. Bottom line, change your thinking, change your life. It's a quote: change your thinking, change your life. You are in charge of your life. Now, I agree when you're growing up, you're under the yoke of your parents and schools and education and so on. But there are certain things you can accept and not accept. There's something called quiet resignation, in which you reside, resign, give up certain things until you examine it. Then you come out of the booth, so to speak, or the starting point, and you begin to change your life. And that's so important for you to realize. You know, one of the things I've talked about, and I want to talk about, we all need to do this: critical thinking, not social media, not any radio, TV. You have to think what you're thinking. You have to think what other people are seeing and what they're saying. And critical thinking means dissect it. Does it really apply to you? Forget about everybody else. Does it apply to you? And if it doesn't, that means you've done critical thinking. So now you adapt to something that does apply to you. You see, in finding yourself, realizing who you truly are, you're more than just your physical, mental, and emotional body. You are a direct representative of the true source. You are. Think about that. Your RNA, DNA, mRNA, the whole 10 yards comes from the true source. In other words, we're an aspect of the true source. Remember in the Old Testament, we are made in the image of God. Remember that. Jesus said, Kingdom of heaven is within. Remember that. You got all these hints, but you've forgotten that. Forgotten who you are, what you are, why you're here. And so what you're doing is just living day by day by day, taking everything in your stride till it comes to weekend. And then you watch TV, or maybe you have a few beers, or maybe you go out swimming if you do, or whatever. And then after a day and a half, you're back to work again. Same old drum over and over and over again. You become a robot. You don't even think. You just listen to what other people say and you follow it. Well, in some instances, it does make sense. But critical thinking will also say, no, doesn't make sense to me. You know, there are a group of people, I refer this back to the Revolutionary War time, who said, no, we want our freedoms. No, we're not afraid of King George and his army. No, we're not going to be told what to do. Constitution, we have certain inalienable rights. And then we have the Bill of Rights. And we've forgotten those. And we let the judgments of other people direct our life. Now, there are some judgments that are good, like in a school zone, you don't want to speed and accidentally hit a child. Yeah, that makes sense. And you don't want to speed on the icy roads. With critical thinking, you don't need that. You actually know this is a school zone. I'm better not speed. Kids run out after a ball, or it's icy out. I could lose control of my car. You know that. But what happens is you've given up. You're being a robot to program and think the way you're supposed to think. Well, start thinking unlimitedly. Start thinking that you are a contributor to this family. Start thinking that your epitaph is how you lived your life and the role model that you are. Not by your words, it is said, but by your actions shall you be known. Where are you going in life? What is life all about? It's all about experience. And every experience should bring you joy. You know why? Because even if it's arduous, you know you have the power and the strength to overcome any obstacle in your life rather than surrender to it and becoming a victim. Remember in the beginning I said, there are no victims. You allow yourself to become a victim. And if we look around at life, when they said you can never make an airplane or a rocket ship or a computer or an electric car, they had electric cars, back in the 1900s. All those things, somebody said, no, there must be a better way. I can create a better way. They didn't know how to do it. They kept trying till they succeeded. And that's we have a life today that is in danger of becoming robotic. And who are the chief robots? We are. Because we are not following our soul's urge. That's so important for us to know, our soul's urge. So let's find ourselves. Let's begin to look about what brings us joy and happiness besides materiality. If you watch a little young child, little baby, you give them a toy, they play with a toy. How many remember as a child, or when you had a child, they took the pots and pans and banged on them, and they got such a kick out of them on the pots and pans instead of all the sophisticated toys. So we're told we're not accepted unless we have computers, cell phones, certain types of clothing, sneakers, yada, 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 yada. That's nothing but frosting on the cake. That's not who you are. That's who you want to be accepting. Remember, it's important for you to remember that accepted is unimportant. You just have to appreciate who you are and realize that you're an aspect of the true source. Once you realize that, you begin to accept yourself as an unlimited being. I know we're running a little short on time. How are we doing to you?
We have a few more minutes. I just wanted to add a little something, if
Sure.
that's all right. Where I came from, the past that I had, I didn't realize that I was basically molded. And until I met you and started working with you, I didn't realize that I was living in limited beliefs because I didn't know there was another option. And what I realize now is that that was okay then. I didn't know any better. But now we have these options. We are, like you said, unlimited, and we can control and create the life we really want. Why would we deny ourselves that opportunity when we're so, people are so afraid to stand up for what they believe in? Is that because society has programmed us so strongly that we're afraid to be a little bit different? I don't mind having three heads. Because sometimes when I speak up, people look at me like, yeah, what's wrong with you?
It's a point well taken. The problem with our society is everybody's trying to conform. That's what they're trying to do, and they've lost their individuality. And if you stand up for yourself, oh my goodness, then you're ostracized. The many people who are standing up for themselves are absolutely right. Conformity means that we are no longer leaders, rather we are followers, we're sheep. So understand this. Followers follow, leaders create. So are you a follower, you like sheep, or are you a leader and you create? Everything new on this planet is for leaders who thought of a dream and didn't follow the status quo. So many of us are afraid to be different or unique. And in my field, because of spirituality, if you got three heads, I got nine heads. They think I'm really nuts or crazy. But in the end, they'll realize I'm right. I have a good friend, and he kind of poo-pooed, but he's my friend. So it's okay you can criticize me because I love you just the way you are. And like 4 years later said, everything you've been espousing, you're right. I go, duh. Well, you finally got it, gave me a big hug and said, thank you. That was it. I'm not going to sit there, see, I told you so, I told you so. I don't need that for my ego. Because whatever I'm doing, I am my greatest critic. And I realize that I have to follow a path and be true to thine own self. Quote from Shakespeare, to thine own self be true. And more importantly, I have to follow the dictates of the true source. And that means doing right action and correct exchange to the best of my ability. Everyone, I want you to understand one thing. That is finding yourself. Meditate. Ask who you truly are. Look in the mirror. Forget about your weight, your gray hair, not gray hair. Forget about that. Look in the mirror and say, who am I? And how am I changing my life and others? More important, you change others' life by being a fine example. So I see you pulling up the paper, a little hint that I've run out of time. She gives me good instructions, everyone. So I want to remind everybody, first of all, that every Tuesday night, I have a call in. I'll let TU take over.
Okay, just really quick.
A bit.
I have a little feedback. I apologize for that. The Tuesday call-in is at 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and the number is 202-926-1059, and the access code
is 125-446 pound.
He practices all week long to do that, I tell you. Okay, one more time. I'll make sure I put everything in the comments below as well. But that Tuesday night call-in is 202-926-1059. And the access
code is 125-446 pound.
He also has a recorded message at the end of that call. It's usually about a 10-15 minute recorded message. And you can access those recordings at this number. It's 434-300-4170. And the access
code is 125-446 pound.
I'll tell you, man, he practices every day. He's getting really good too.
I'm working on it.
One more time, that recording number is 434-300-4170. And the
access code is 125-446 pound.
And Michael and I do this every Sunday at 2. However, we might be changing the time a little bit later in the day, but the recordings will always be on our Facebook pages so that you can see them. All our contact information will be in the comments. And Michael has one more thing that he does every second Saturday of the month. You want to share that too?
Yes, which I consider so very important. It's called the mass consciousness and healing the mass consciousness on this planet. Everything and everything and everyone. And it goes from 9:55 a.m. Pacific time to 11:01 a.m. Pacific time. And we really are pretty close within a minute or two of signing off. And the first few minutes I talk a little bit about, we bring this beautiful loving energy through, and then we're silenced until about 3 minutes before 11 or 4 minutes before 11, which I come on and thank all of you. The reports that I've had, people say, oh my gosh, the love, the joy, the healing, the emotion, the energy they felt, it's incredible. Please join us. Please make a difference because you're so important. So I want to thank you all. Do you want to bring up the closing points?
The number one more time? The number one more time?
Sure.
Okay. The number is 202-926-1059.
And the access code is 125-446 pound.
Okay, on that note, that's also the same number as the Tuesday night call-in. So anytime you want to, you can access the recordings Michael has phenomenal messages. And I think, Michael, don't you have like 215 now?
215. Yes.
Okay. So closing points on that note, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up because it starts right here. The spiritual primer.
And
Best
healing the holes
doggone
in your
food
soul.
ever. What was that, Michael? I'm sorry.
And healing the holes in your soul.
Thank you. Start with this one. It's amazing. And Michael has a new, you have another one coming out soon, don't you?
Well, what I've done is this is the second edition. I've added a couple of new things. So that'll be out in a month, hopefully, depending upon the printer and if they can get paper. Kind of a little shortage. And then the new book will be called The 12 Manifestation Protocols, something I'm honored to teach that will change your lives. And it's really important for all of you to support all of us, not only to tell everyone about our call-in, but to support your friend, love them, be there and help them and have compassion. Because that's what our life is all about, love and compassion.
Absolutely, Michael. Thank you.
And on that note, I want to thank all of you for coming here. I thank you all of you for joining us because you are unlimited. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you. Have a great week.